One campaign I want to talk to you about, which is very unusual and pretty special for me. It was a former president of Taiwan. His name was Shin Shubian, and after he served twice as the firstborn Taiwanese president of the country, he belongs to the party that he belongs to. Had won for the first time. Up till then, it was the Chiang Kai-shek people in their party and the descendants of the Chiang Kai-shek that controlled most of the power of the government. This is the first time that, someone born in Taiwan actually won the election. He won twice, and but after his sentence, he actually went to jail for corruption, and I never knew anything more than that about it. And there was a guy by the name of J2, who's a professor down at North Carolina State. And he used to call me regularly and say, "You got to work for, Chen Shu-bian." And I said, "That's a corruption case. I don't work on corruption cases. I work on human rights cases. There's a difference." And he kept saying, "No, this is a human rights story." And I just kept putting them off. And evidently he tried all the other human rights groups and nobody bought either. And finally, I was talking to Ferial, my partner, one day and told her about this. And she said, "You should look into it. Oftentimes, you know, if there's serious dissent in the country, like in Taiwan," she said, "the Chiang Kai-shek people really don't like the people who were born there, because they were brought over by the U.S. Navy when Mao Zedong won China. So you ought to look into this." So I did, and I sent two good friends over to actually see him and visit him and see whether he was being killed in jail, because that was the accusation of J2, who was supporting this campaign. And they got there, they got into the prison, they visited them, and he was in a very small cell with someone else, and a lot of books, a lot of paper, that was, as he would for any legal case. It was all stacked in this one little jail cell. And this guy was actually being killed, and the lights never went off. He didn't know what kind of medicine he was getting. Um, so I went to work, and I wrote, probably in the end, maybe 30 blogs. Then I'd send them to J2, and he would translate them, and we'd get them into the into the Taiwan in Chinese, and so it started causing a fury. And there was a local group there, not very large yet, who still supported him, because you lose face in Asia, and people move away if you lose face and that kind of thing. It's kind of a cultural thing, and so they caught on to the blogs. They liked that, and we started working on it. And so I ended up writing probably 30 blogs. And by the end of this campaign, now I've never left my basement. Um, they they would end up, when the new election came, President Ma, who was from the Chiang Kai-shek side, um, lost the election, and there was his Chen Shu-bian's party came into power. In the struggle for that election, they'd actually read my blogs in Chinese uh, on national television in Taiwan, and you would go, speak Chinese, and then you say Jack Healey, and then you go back to Chinese, and this occurred almost because I became like a national figure um, in Taiwan, and I hadn't been in Taiwan for years, and it actually became a fighting force on the side of Chen Shubian to get him out of there, and became known to his family and his supporters, and then his party won, and we first got him out of the jail cell into a prison hospital, and that he got a little better there, but he still wasn't doing very well. He wasn't getting good care. There were some pretty good doctors, Taiwanese doctors, that went over from California, I believe, and look after him. And they kept saying he needs to get out of this prison thing or he's going to pass away. So I kept writing these blogs one after another, as strong as I could. And eventually he was freed. He was allowed to go home, and he recouped in no time and got better. He's still struggling today, but with whatever his ailments were. But he's home. He's healthy. He's enjoying his freedom, And so I appreciate J2 for alerting me to this and translating all those blogs for me and allowing me to become kind of a figure in Taiwanese politics. And I never left my basement. I think that's pretty unusual and a good lesson for many campaigners out there who want to change the world. This was one small one that I did, and but he's home free, and I'm very happy about that. So my best to Chin Shu Bien. Glad you're home and enjoying your freedom. I was very happy to do what I did. Thank you.